Allie. It's so great to be chatting with you here today. I would love to hear a little bit about your journey. I mean, you are someone who has gone through the Pre-Sales Academy program, and you've actually had two SE roles since graduating. So I'm super excited to have you and just have you chat a little bit about your experience. So I guess with that in mind, can you introduce yourself and share a bit about your career before joining Pre-Sales Academy?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Allie Delehanty, and I was actually a high school math teacher before transitioning into pre-sales. And then since then, I've worked at Snow Software and now at Psycor.
That's so great. I mean, we've had so many teachers go through the program, so it's great to see you go grow and be successful. But I'm actually curious, what inspired you to pursue a career in pre-sales, and like, how did you come to find PSA?
Yeah, so I knew I didn't want to be in teaching anymore. I was kind of exploring other options. And during that process, my husband actually came across pre-sales just in his role he was being sold to. And then went in to dig more into the role, found Pre-Sales Academy, saw a former teacher on the website and thought, wow, Allie, you'd be really good at this. Will you come to meet that person with me and get a little bit more information? I'm like, okay, fine. So I go and I learn more about the role and kind of realize, wow, this could be a really good fit. I like solving problems. I love presenting. I like teaching people. I just knew I didn't want to do that with kids anymore. And so now having, that knowledge, it's like, okay, Pre-Sales Academy could really, solve that for me.
I love that. I'm curious. What was it that made you say like, hey, yeah, I can really do this. This would be really cool.
Yeah, I think it was seeing other, first of all, just seeing other teachers go through that career transition. It's really hard to be in the teaching space and not think this is where I have to be forever. Every teacher kind of has this perspective, I think, like they go into it and they think this is what I'm doing for 35 years and that is life. And so now having to reframe your mind and be willing to leave that is really hard when you don't see a lot of that, especially like within your one school. So getting to watch other teachers make that transition, especially into this specific role, and then do a really great job is kind of what gave me the confidence that I had that capability. But then also knowing that, I was willing to put in the work to get there. And so watching kind of the different interactions that I've had and getting to ask people questions like, is it boring? Are you sure you're not going to get bored doing this job? What is out there that I don't know? But I think then having the backing of Pre-Sales Academy was able to get me there because I didn't know, okay, now I'm interested in this. I think I could be really good at this because I like presenting and I'm a good teacher and I'm good at these things, but how do I get from doing that in the classroom to doing that in the corporate world?
I love that. I absolutely love it because I know you are absolutely fabulous at your job, and I'm super glad you made that transition. So I'm curious, kind of from the PSA journey standpoint, when you're in the role, what skills or knowledge did you gain from Pre-Sales Academy that you found most valuable in where you're at now?
Yeah, I think the very first thing that I needed was the basics of sales and the basics of the corporate space. What does it look like to sell software to someone, and where would I in pre-sales, be inserted into that? And so I think that was the first thing that I needed is I didn't have any of those basics of the corporate space. But then from there, I think some of the most valuable skills that I take with me today is the value selling framework. I think I've tweaked here and there over my 2 years as a solutions engineer what my best practices are and what I like to do, but ultimately I haven't left the foundation of value selling and focusing on what is the customer's pain? What am I showing them? I'm not showing them every single feature in my box. I'm showing them what meets their needs. I think that is what something Pre-Sales Academy taught me that I will take with me forever.
I love that, and I love that it's, like, that foundation, but of course, like any good, pre-sales professional, you're going to put your own spin on it. You're gonna learn things. You're gonna kinda tweak how your personal, like, brand is on top of that. I love that you're doing that. So let's talk a little bit about what that transition looked like for you into pre-sales and what challenges did you face when shifting into the field? And did or how did pre-sales academy prepare you to overcome them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is going into a new career feeling like you don't know nothing and you don't deserve to be there. I think that is really hard, starting that process. And the best thing about Pre-Sales Academy was having the community to feel that together. Having the support of mentors and teachers and coaches beyond Pre-Sales Academy, and also having the support of your cohort, people you've met, previous cohorts of other people who are also in the role and have experienced that same thing. 'Cause it is really hard to start a completely new job where you're supposed to be the expert and not have those skills yet. Um, but with that too, I think one of the things that Pre-Sales Academy taught me was how to say I don't know in a way that's still continuing, the sale. And so being able to say I don't know, but I'm going to go find that for you and I'm going to get that answer to you in the next 24 hours. I think some of those like best practices for sales in general that we were taught in Pre-Sales Academy has helped me overcome some of those challenges too, and just talking openly about hard things like imposter syndrome and having the community to be there for that.
And I'm sure now that you've been doing it for a couple years, you look back and you're like, of course I'm gonna say I don't know and I'm gonna find them. And of course, like I'm gonna have days where I feel like I don't know anything. But when you're new in that role, like you don't know that stuff. And
Mhm.
it's super, super important. So thank you so much for bringing that up because it's a really big thing. And it's something that I feel like just about every pre-sales professional you're gonna talk to is gonna feel some form of imposter syndrome. I think that's really important to know.
Yeah, and I'm going through it all over again. My starting a new job, even though I have been working in pre-sales for 2 years, I'm again in a place where I don't know anything. And so knowing that and having the community of Pre-Sales Academy and Pre-Sales Collective as a whole, just other people who've done this before is really supportive. And I think that's what matters most. When I talk to people about a career change journey, it's find support with you. You can't do this by yourself.
I love that. I love that, Allie. Um, so I'm curious, especially now that you've started a new role, you've kind of had, some success in pre-sales. What are some of the specific ways your PSA training has helped you excel?
Yeah, I think just one of the biggest things is some of those value selling and demo to win techniques that I then get to bring in with my account executives and kind of partner in that together. One of the things that we talked specifically about in Pre-Sales Academy is, tell, show, tell. Okay, how do I incorporate my account executive to also be a part of this with me? And so some of my favorite times with my account executives is when we can finally get to a point where okay, I'm going to start the part of telling. I'm going to show them, but I want you to end that tell with maybe
Mhm.
a question, or I want you to end with a statement. I want you to engage too, so that we can do this together. And that way, this is more engaging and also gives me a little break during the demo, but it incorporates us kind of together. So I think through PSA and kind of learning how do we want to engage with our customer throughout, and then getting to bring that to my account executive that I'm partnering with, and sharing that together. How do you think we can engage the customer better? Um, has been really valuable.
I love that. So the team selling component of like what we bring and how we work with our and partner with our account executives is such a big deal. I love that you're taking that and you're running with it. Fabulous. So, like I said, you've been doing this for a few years now. Can you share any moments where you have felt particularly proud in your career, especially post graduation, after pre-sales academy? Like, what have you accomplished in your career so far?
Yeah. So aside from just making a big career change, which is big in itself and a proud moment, I think one thing going to the imposter syndrome piece, you start to find things that you are good at. Right. I'm never going to catch up to my coworker who's been at the company for 20 years. Right. They have 20 years of knowledge I can't have. But what do I have that's different? And one thing that I started to do is I became the go-to person for any demo video. So kind of started to really embrace the demo automation process. How do we use consensus or even SharePoint or so whatever we can to use video to increase the sale while we're not on a call with a customer. And so I got to work with our marketing team and create videos for the websites. I got to make videos that we used between demos, after demos, before demos. And all of that was really fun because it was something I was good at that was different. And I got to bring my own skill set from teaching, being able to take something really long and complex and how do I shorten that into less than 5 minutes. So that's something I've been really excited about. Found that it's something I love to do, and helps me also just really learn our products well.
I think that's fabulous. I think it showcases everyone has their own like knowledge and skill set from whatever they've done in the past, their life experience, where they've come from, etc. But also, everybody has their own like niche, the things that they're really good at. Like what are, some people are going to be really great at like the details, and some people are going to be really great at the big picture stuff. And just
Mhm.
shows that you can, just because you don't have that 20 years of experience or because you're not, the best at, whatever X is, you're going to have your own things that, you can bring to the table. Love that, Ellie. Um, and I guess I'm curious, you've done some really amazing things. What would you tell someone transitioning from another career into pre-sales? So any advice for future students?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think one is just knowing that your skill set's going to be valuable even if it's not the same as someone else's, and that is really valuable in a team of sales engineers. The best part about sales engineering and pre-sales is that from everywhere I've seen, it's the most collaborative team environment. People want to help each other, they care about each other. You have a different set of skill sets with every single person. And when you come together and embrace that, that's when you get to really make an impact together, and you don't have to feel I don't know, upset that you can't catch up to one way or the other. Secondly, I just think that personally I feel like this is the best job in sales, and I think that's it's worth the work to make that transition if that's where you want to be, because it's worth it for where you end up.
Allie, there's no better way to end this. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom and congratulations on your second role in pre-sales, on everything that you've accomplished successfully transitioning into the pre-sales role and just absolutely crushing it. So, congrats, Allie. Really appreciate you. And also happy birthday, Pre-Sales Academy. It's third birthday. So really excited that a part of this 3 years includes so many successful graduates, career advisors, folks who've gone through the program, including folks like Allie. Thank you so much, Allie, today.
Thank you.